Hammett got a star's billing at the beginning. In important respects, he was Nick Charles, and MGM made him a rich man. It took Hammett to capture that character, and William Powell acted the part flawlessly. Hammett's fifth, last, and most commercially successful novel, The Thin Man, was published on January 8th, 1934. 2 weeks later, he wrote his wife, "The book is going swell. It got very fine reviews, as you can see from the enclosed clippings, and last week sold better than any other book in New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, besides being near the top of the list in most other cities. Second, MGM is buying the movie rights for $21,000, which is $4,000 less than Paramount paid for The Glass Key, but a pretty good price this year at that." Indeed, it was the worst year of the Depression, and $21,000 was the equivalent of $1 million in present-day money. In fact, the Los Angeles Times reported that MGM, acting on the advice offered by Alexander Woollcott on his radio program, purchased movie rights 8 days after the book was published. The studio set a budget of $250,000 for the first movie and assigned it to director W.S. Van Dyke, known as One-Shot Woody, for his efficiency in managing production budgets, suggesting that the studio had moderate expectations for the movie's success. They were wrong. The Thin Man, starring William Powell, Myrna Loy, and the wire fox terrier Asta, was released on May 25, 1934, to rave reviews, having been shot in 16 days, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The National Board of Review named it one of the top 10 movies of the year. More important, it was also one of the top 10 moneymakers of 1934 and won 4 Academy Award nominations: Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Albert Hackett and Francis Goodrich, Best Director, Van Dyke, and Best Actor, William Powell. The Thin Man was regarded as the prototype for a new type of crime movie, softening the subject matter with witty comedy and romance. Van Dyke thought its success came from the depiction of a happily married couple, a strange oversimplification of Hammett's achievement in creating Nick and Nora Charles. Hammett commented, "They made a pretty funny picture out of it, and it seems to be doing good business wherever it is shown." The Thin Man begged for a sequel. Immediately after The Thin Man was released, producer Hunt Stromberg began thinking about a second Nick and Nora Charles movie. On August 29, 1934, he dictated his thoughts. "The treatment that we can give Nick and Nora is so plentiful that it will be comparatively easy to write the intimate story as soon as we get the crime element. Maybe we would want Nick to be dragged into a case that happens in San Francisco. I personally favor the New York idea, however, because it would give us the opportunity to bring back all those swell characters of the original, and there would be a large amount of humor in any idea that would demand Nick's presence back in New York. The main object of this second crime element is to make it even more mysterious and ingenious than the first, for the millions who have seen The Thin Man will be smarter now in spotting suspects or guilty ones than they were in the first picture. I'm not being any too clear, but we will discuss it later." It is clear enough that Stromberg needed help. Late in September, the Culver City office of MGM wrote to the New York office asking that they contact Hammett, who was on the East Coast at the time, to negotiate a contract for a sequel to The Thin Man. On October 1st, New York replied that Hammett was inaccessible. He was moving between Florida and various stopping places in Manhattan, and that in any event it would not be possible to get any work from him. On October 19th, Louis B. Mayer wrote from New York warning that Hammett suffered from irregular habits. Nonetheless, on October 23, 1934, Hammett signed an agreement with MGM that stipulated, in part, 1. You are to leave for our studios at Culver City, California, either October 24th or 25th, 1934. We will furnish you railroad transportation and compartment. 2. On arrival at our studios, you will begin writing for us, under our supervision and in accordance with our suggestions, a full and complete original story, which will be a sequel to The Thin Man and its characters and action previously written by you, and of substantially the same length, and will continue your services